Right then, guys, I'm finally doing it. Welcome to CP Carpentry Podcast.
First ever podcast, mate. What an honour.
I think I'm going to split this into like loads of little segments so that I don't chew everyone's ears off. How do you feel about that?
Well, you are known for waffling.
I am known for waffling.
And this is all about waffling.
Right, guys, let's get into it. Let's just test the sound.
Testing. I'm talking about random stuff. I'm looking at our little...
Right, let's get set up.
One.
Whenever I do that, biggest thing I've just missed. That needs to be like that. So that gets the CP Carpentry in the background.
Who's Mitch? How's Mitch got started? How Mitch got started if Mitch wasn't doing what he was doing in life? What would he do?
Let's get our cans. Sit down, get ready.
Oh man, it doesn't find it, man.
I don't even know where to look or what to talk about. I suppose we could just look at each other, kind of.
Yeah, that's the idea, is that it's like
communicate.
three people sort of thing.
And then if we say something suspicious or like jokingly,
Side eye.
yeah, side eye, and pick that camera because that camera will pick us up better than that camera, and that camera's obviously a weird angle. Unless there's something.
Yeah, what's the idea in that one?
That's like it's like, realistically, I want 3 or 4 of those cameras. And it's what happens with these auto podcast things is you link these cameras to these microphones. So it'd be like that one would be pointing at your head. I'd have one there pointing at my head, and then there'd be one up there or something pointing at all of us. So if there was like 3 or 2 of us talking, you get like the whole group.
Yeah, then it cuts to the, yeah.
And then
when I'm talking, it cuts to me. When you're talking, it cuts to you.
Yeah. And then it just helps edit. It makes editing. But we're cheap and cheerful, and we only have one camera.
Tradies.
How's your diet going, Mitch?
As you can tell, really well. But I just tell people that I'm on a bulk, you know. Seems to work. No one seems to ask any questions after that. They don't say, when's the bulk ending? They're just, oh yeah, nice one. Get away with it.
It's proper. Diet is so hard to nail when it comes to gym, and that's like everything he says whilst he's chomping on a biscuit.
I reckon diet's definitely harder than the gym. Like when you're in the gym, like for me anyway, getting to the gym is a little bit hard. Like getting the motivation to go to the gym, sometimes I skip it. But when I'm in the gym, yeah, it's easy. You get a good workout in. Getting home, the last thing I want to do is cook a healthy meal. Like I can't be asked to stand there cooking. I'll just grab whatever's in the fridge, grab whatever's in the cupboard. Something sugary normally because it's calling to me.
Yeah, definitely. I can definitely relate to that. I can say that's 100% why I go in the morning, because when the alarm clock goes off, there's absolutely nothing stopping you other than you getting out of bed.
Yeah.
Whereas I do appreciate when you train in the evening or the afternoon, especially after work, if you've had a shit day, you don't want to do anything.
Nah, you just want something sugary, mate. It always calls to me.
Something sugary.
Something sugary
like a... We haven't cracked these.
Well, they're not quite sugary, but it's got to be done, mate.
That's true. They're absolutely not sugary.
Sponsored by Monster. Call out to Monster.
Yeah, shout out to Monster if you want to caffeine us up. Cheers. What a wonderful... Don't even know what time in the afternoon this is.
I think this is the 4th one of today. Maybe 5th.
I'm not sure which one.
Yeah. Nice. Good stuff. So, Charlie, your first ever podcast.
Yeah, man.
I'm honoured to be your first guest. What do you think? How do you think this is going to go? Terribly?
I think it's going to go. I think it's going to go pretty well. I think like most of the regulars on the channel will enjoy it. It's going to be pretty raw, pretty organic, And yeah, man, congratulations. I picked you. It was one person versus one person.
Yeah, there's a tough crowd out there, a lot of competition. Yeah.
In all fairness, my scariest part is probably like, it's fine doing one of these podcasts. We have absolutely no script or thought as to what we're going to talk about with this, but
Wing it.
yeah, we're absolutely going to wing it. And like with the winging it, I have no clue where to wing it next.
No, we'll see how it flows and where it flows to. Yeah, we'll. You never know what we might end up talking about, but
Be interesting if we just done one a month and it was only ever us.
yeah, like a monthly update on how my life is deteriorating and getting worse and worse.
I wouldn't say it like that.
No, not at all, not at all. But yeah, tradies talking about whatever nonsense we can come up with.
We talk no end of nonsense. Have you subject? Have you met anyone on site that just chats absolute crap?
Oh, mate,
You obviously don't ever name, but yeah. Has there been any situations where you sat in the lunch hall and he's like, so there was 12 of them, right? So obviously I picked the biggest one.
yeah, no, mate. There's always people like that. There's always compulsive liars and narcissists and whatnot. Some of the people I've worked with are like, oh, bad, and like this guy must be like 150 years old because he's just done everything. He's worked 10 years in this. He's been in the army, Royal Signal, and he's just done everything. Firefighter, Sparky, he owned his own business, which got brought out by some UK power networks company or whatever. Like, oh, this is like really impressive stuff on paper. Then you kind of look at him and realise, yeah, you like others might be a bit full of it. Yeah, there's always people like that.
Yeah, definitely.
But you just kind of got to
Are you getting on well with agency work? Because I've previously done agency work and I hated it.
So, how I feel about agency work, I feel like it's a stepping stone. I feel like when you get out there, which we'll talk about in a bit, me getting out there, we've kind of done this back to front. Maybe we should start talking about getting out there first. But
start wherever you want. If you want to start from the start.
No. So once you're out there and you don't have a lot of contacts, agencies are great. They can get you a lot of work. Well, for me anyway, in the electrical world, I think there's a lot of work with agencies. Like, there's so many agencies out there, and if you contact all of them, get yourself registered with them, you'll get no end of calls all the time. We've got this job, we've got that job, when can you start? So they can get you work. Pretty good pay. But I feel like once you've got yourself started and once you've done a few jobs, you should always be networking. You should always be talking to the boss, talking to clients, talking to
100%.
the management companies, and
You've always got to be
other sparks.
Eagle-eyed, like you've got to open your eyes to opportunity.
Being self-employed is all about networking. Some people do their networking via ads on social media or whatever, and
YouTube podcasts.
I do my networking through other people, other companies, and then I contact them or they contact me about jobs, and I do it direct. So I've been doing direct work for quite a while now, getting on for a year maybe. I haven't really done much agency work.
That's cool. That's good.
I might have to go back to agency work for a little bit to fill in the gaps, but that's what it's there for, to fill in the gaps. So you do your own stuff priorly, and then agency works to fill in the gaps. Well, like, when you say you had bad experiences with agencies, like what sort of thing did you find?
So the bad experiences I had with agencies, giving it context, was I was 18. I'd only just learned to drive. All my agency work was in and around Cambridge. Parking. Half the building sites I got contracted. And granted, giving it more context, I was being contracted as a labourer or a carpenter's helper, labourer sort of thing. Yeah. And it'd be, I won't have access to site via the main gates. It'll be like literally turn up with your lunchbox and your backpack. I would be allowed to like drive into the car park and drop off my tools, but then like the taxi of mum and dad would then have to come and save me because I weren't allowed to park my vehicle because everyone wanted their vans in.
Yeah.
They'd signed contracts, they were doing their carpentry work, and there was literally like say five bays, and obviously the site manager, health and safety, and then the last three was to whoever turned up first.
Yeah.
So yeah, my bad experience with agencies was back then I couldn't handle. I can appreciate now why it is very volatile and it's like, oh yeah, can you start tomorrow? Can you start next week?
Yeah.
I appreciate why it's like that because yeah, like certain people on site walk off or or they fall out or they've had enough or it's just simply their contract has come to an end and someone else needs to fill the gap. And yeah, like you say, it ticks boxes. It allows you to pass go and collect £200 in this game of Monopoly that we call life. But,
True.
But for me, I like a bit of security.
Yeah, security. What is security as well? That changes depending on who you speak to. So, cardies, as we call them, people who work for a company. So they'll be like on the books working for some company. And then you've got, subbies, subcontract people, and like self-employed. Like cardies, they might say that they've got good job security because they work for a firm. But I've worked for a few firms before I went self-employed, and people get rid of you in no time at all. They say, "I'm sorry, mate, we've run out of work. You've got your like 4 weeks notice, and then you're done." Like, oh right, so I've got 4 weeks to find a new job. I'm trying to find a job with a business. You know what it's like. You've got to apply, wait to hear back, go for an interview, maybe even like second interview, depending on like what sort of company it is. You've got all this competition and all that, so that it becomes very difficult to find another job. Whereas for me and you, we might get told, yeah, don't come back tomorrow. You've not got 4 weeks notice, you've got 0 notice. But you can then find a job tomorrow, call an agency. Yeah, we need more people. When can you start? Tomorrow. Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think that, personally, being a subby has got more security than being a cardie. Because when there's no work, it doesn't matter if you're a subby or a cardie.
When there's no
work, there's no work.
Yeah.
It's harder for you to find another job.
Yeah,
for
definitely.
a subby, so much easier to find another job. I haven't been out of work since I started being a subby, really.
No.
So
much the same. I've had a lot of high and lows with my self-employment. When I first went self-employed back in like October 22, I went to like the subcontracting sort of stuff, and yeah, every day I had work. But I soon fell out of love with the commute. I'd like equally previously being employed, I'd always had a commute from like the outskirts of Cambridge into Cambridge, or to the other side of Cambridge in Royston or Bury St Edmunds. Bury St Edmunds is not too bad, but like you're getting on roads and tolls and motorways where it only takes one person to be silly that day, and every person behind that person is now going to wait until they've cleared the accident. That's where commuting and travel for me over the 8 or 10 years I was doing that. My patience has worn thin with it.
Yeah, commuting is definitely a big part of it. I don't like the commute. No one does, but
if it's worth it, it's worth
yeah,
it.
like for me, money is a big motivator, and the bigger money jobs are normally always
Further.
half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour commute, whatever it might be. But to anyone out there that's either thinking about subbing or entered the subbing world, get a group, work your way into a group or form your own group. So like I do need all my work with another Spark. Shout out to Victor.
Shout out to Victor.
Me and Victor
as well.
Me and Victor, we car share everywhere. It makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got an hour commute, but you've only got to do that for a week. And the other week, you can sit on your phone, you can go to sleep, you can do what you want.
I'm sure the driver of the vehicle enjoys that.
Yeah, because the other guy's commuting, so it makes it so much easier. It's not so much of a commute. It's not bad, and then you're earning good money for that whole time. So I've been on jobs where there's been 3 of us. You've only got to drive 1 in every 3 weeks. The other 2 weeks, I don't have to worry about fuel money. I don't have to worry about, driving to or from work. I just turn up at the arranged place.
It's very smart, in all fairness, thinking about it. And again, like, there's only 2 of you, but if there was 4 of you, it'd be 1 week of every month. And equally with it, where say one vehicle does 45, 50 mpg, if you've got 4 of those vehicles and you're sharing it between 4 people, all of a sudden, let me do the maths, 45, 90, 100, all of a sudden you're getting 180 mpg.
Yeah, literally, because you're only driving, if you divide that by the amount of weeks you've got to drive, if you drive 1 in every 3 weeks, just times your economy by 3, and that's your fuel money, basically, that you've got to spend. In a way, I get what you're saying, yeah. I really like the subby world, and I really like the industrial world.
Yeah, hats off to you for that.
Domestic, as an electrician, is very different. In some ways it's a lot easier, and other ways it's a lot harder. It can be harder with regs, like there's so many regs, mate, so many regs. Me, Victor, and another guy sat in the canteen for an hour, which we was allowed to do, I promise, for an hour just talking about domestic regs, because I haven't done domestic in a couple of years now. There's just so much to remember. I specialise in industrial mainly, and again in industrial there's so many regs to remember.
I can definitely appreciate that. I like my domestic work because I hate, well, it's self-inflicted really, in all honesty. Obviously I choose to be domestic and I choose to be a village person, but like with that, for context, if I wasn't a village person and I'd commuted, say, for even just 30 minutes out to a customer's house, and for context, I fitted a kitchen the other day, pulled it out of my van, everything was fine, undone the wrapper. When I undone the wrapper, dent. That little dent meant I was then held up on my job. It's now my responsibility because I'm domestic. I quote the customers, I see the customers, I do the job for the customers, I have to go collect everything for the customers. I get all the running around, as well as all the good bits. And I really struggle with schedule. People are like, just book me in. Okay, so if person A's job was due to finish that Friday, even if I was due to finish at 1 o'clock, I could go start another job. Or if it was due to finish at 4 o'clock that Friday, all of a sudden I've just opened up a drawer front to a kitchen. I've got a dent in it. My supplier is now closed, or by the time I get to my supplier, it's now closed. Luckily for me, my supplier's 7 minutes up the road. So come Monday morning, I went to my supplier. They, being in a small village area, they didn't have anything in stock. So I nicely said to them, politely, who's got it in stock? And if it's local, I'll drive. So they told me where the local stock was. I then had to drive for an hour, which writ off 2 hours commute for my day. But that then allowed me on Monday to finish this job, invoice and get paid, and the customer was happy. I've just lost half a day on Monday just trying to finish Friday's job that was half a day.
Out of your time and your money.
Yeah.
Really, because there's big differences between, like we're saying about
turning
being
up,
a cardie, being a subby, and being self-employed. When you're self-employed, everything's on you.
Yeah.
I stopped doing self-employed work, for this reason itself. Like, you turn up at work, at your job, you've got to have everything there that you need. You've got to be sharp. Yeah. You've got to think about, right, tomorrow, that's the end of the day today, tomorrow I need to try and do this, and this. So to do those jobs, I need 6mm cable with clips, and then I need some whisker boxes, and then I need the outside lights. Okay. Turn up the next day, oh man, I forgot to get the silicone, so I can't really fit this stuff because it's meant to rain today and I haven't got the silicone, wherever it might be, for instance, and it becomes a massive headache. It's hard being on your own.
But mate, it's mega hard being on my own. For example, just in like, whether it's an 8-hour day or a 24-hour day, whatever you want to class your day as, emails, estimates, quotes, I need to hear back about prices from my supplier and then need to transfer that to my quotes. I then need to view jobs. I then need to run around and get materials. I then need to work and do those jobs. And then on top of that, when things go wrong, I just have to find the time to put things right. And I honestly am aware of this now, so I don't try and bite off too much, I don't try and bite off more than I can chew, because I understand I am a one-man band. However, the things that I can't control, which I struggle with self-employment, which I should think everybody does, and it's the biggest thing. People are like, oh, put your foot down, just be firm with people. But like going back to like my kitchen situation, I can't foresee or control mishaps, mistakes, and fuck-ups like that, basically.
It all falls on you. The customers are looking at you.
It's not too much that it falls on me. It's more I can't foresee unforeseen things.
Of course, yeah.
And that's my biggest.
You're never going to avoid them. You can't
avoid them.
They're going to happen.
And you can't see them. It's like you're blindfolded walking through a minefield.
Yeah.
If you make it to the other side, you've done well.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you're not making it to the other side without finding one.
Yeah.
And every month, it just reoccurs. So I accept all of that. So I try not to bite off more than I can chew to counterbalance and allow for this. However, the hardest thing I struggle with is winter. Wet. Nicely and honestly, I appreciate it and I understand why the economy is like this. Christmas. So January and February, people are paying off their credit card bills if that's where they're at, or it's cold and they're just saving money ready for Easter holidays and they want to go away.
People don't have a lot of motivation to do that sort of stuff in winter anyway. They're kind of just hunkered down.
Yeah.
And then the sun comes out and all of a sudden, I want to build a new kitchen, or I want a new kitchen.
Yeah, and
I want to do
rushed.
stuff outside, I want to deck in, all this stuff. Like, people come out and like have all these bright ideas all of a sudden, as soon as it gets a bit warmer.
Yeah, definitely.
So, yeah, the winter period is a bit difficult sometimes.
The winter period for me is lovely because only a few jobs come in and I'm only speaking for myself as someone trying for a family but hasn't got kids. I don't have to warrant going out and finding a lot of money. I only have to find enough money to entertain me. I kind of sometimes think to myself, just put an extra day on that job and then ask someone to do it for you. And if they do it well, you've profited a day, and then you can give them another job the next day. And all of a sudden, where currently I'm one person working half a day every day, I could become two people working 1.5 days every day. And I look at it and I think, all that's really going to do is up my cash flow. Yes, make me a little bit more comfortable, but I think realistically it will just up my cash flow, and the extra cash flow will just go on something else when something else goes wrong. So I'd rather hold myself responsible and not push myself over VAT.
You'd also probably end up not being the local village man anymore. You'd have to branch out further
definitely.
away to find more work, because you've got more people to look after, yourself and someone else, and apprentice, for instance, whatever it might be. You've got to find more work, branch out even further. You're no longer that local village man, which you so love.
Oh, mate.
Yeah.
Honestly, pay me £20,000 a year. I do not want to leave this village.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely see the appeal. I definitely see the appeal of...
I give that village small... I get it, it's small-minded, but I'll give that context on like how nice it is to be the village person and the small business. When things go wrong and it's down to me to fix, I only need to run up the road, and I can do that as long as the supply's open. I can do that whenever I want, and I can fix it fairly fast. Whereas, like I say, if I'd gone to, say, Cambridge or further than Cambridge, I've got to slap a big commute on top of getting to the supplier. which would just completely write a day off.
Yeah.
So like, it's frustrating when it goes wrong, but because I stay local, it's never that hard to put right.
Nip up Screwfix or nip up Tool Station or whatever it might be. Get the materials you need to fix that job and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely see the appeal. I've done a few local jobs, quite a few local jobs in the past, and it's always nice. 10-minute commute to work, 10-minute commute to Screwfix to pick up materials, whatever it might be. Do the job. You might get it done in 3/4 of a day, half a day, and you're home by 2 o'clock, and it feels good. You don't feel exhausted. You know.
Yeah.
Long commutes are getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning to get ready for work, and then getting home. Well, would be getting home at 6, but now I've got to go to the gym. Then I'll get home at 8 and like do a bit of food, and that's the day done. That's my life, you know.
Yeah,
so
you're heavily invested in your life around work.
Yeah, yeah, but it depends what you want. It depends what you want from life. If you want money to buy nice things, to go to nice places, to do nice things, for me, that's what I've got to do.
Yeah.
Whereas if I wanted an easier life, because that's got its own appeal, money's got one appeal, having an easier life is another appeal, and the older I'm getting, the more that's appealing to me, the less money kind of makes me happy, and the more spending time around the people you want to spend time around with makes you happy.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Local jobs, yeah, on less money makes sense, more and more sense, especially if you've got a family, because you can't, it doesn't matter how much you earn, you can't buy that time with a family.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a massive. I learned quite a lot about that in COVID. I remember like being on the books, like leaving my house at 6, getting in the yard for 6:30, leaving the yard at 7 o'clock. For context, the builder that I used to work for, you had to pick up a van and drop a van off every day. So that's what I'm talking about there. So that, just picking up a van and dropping off a van every day, every single day, 6 days a week some weeks, doing like 55, 60 hours, if not 70 hours some weeks, I think has nicely burnt me out. Not even now in my old age, because we're only young, mid, coming up to middle age, I guess. We're like...
Yeah. Middle age is 36, isn't it, actually? It's not 40, it's 36, yeah. The average life is 72, so middle age is 36.
We are on the cusp.
We're on our way there, mate. I still feel like I'm 18 years old, 19 years old.
Yeah, but that's good. That's good, isn't it?
Jump in the 1.2s, head down to the local...
car park.
Yeah, car park or club or whatever. Yeah.
Another subject. We've spoken a lot about work and like each other. Life now in this generation compared to our generation is crazy apart.
Yeah, mate.
Think of like all the things we watched on TV that simply cannot go on TV anymore.
Yeah.
They're probably out there on YouTube if you want to check out things like Little Britain.
Little Britain, yeah, mate. I still see a few little clips of Little Britain.
Johnny Knoxville and like Jackass. They would never make it. What's Ali G's actual name? Sacha Baron Cohen.
Is it Sacha Baron Cohen? I think so, yeah.
Something like
Borat, Ali G.
Yeah.
That sort of stuff. Yeah. I'm glad I grew up when I grew up, because we grew up with very, very limited, not no technology, but limited technology. You could only do so much with the technology that we had. Yeah. So we still went outside, still played, still rid our bikes, still did stupid stuff like every young lad does. But then we get home and you had your PS1 or your PS2, you had your TV, if you was lucky enough to have Sky TV. But like, it wasn't the sole focus of entertainment. You still went out, you still had fun.
Yeah.
And then we've grown up with the technology, so we're now like, we've got all this cool stuff to enjoy, but we still had the experience of being out and about as a kid.
Yeah, definitely.
So I feel sorry for kids nowadays that grow up in front of a screen.
I'm just 2 seconds. I'm just going to see how long we've been recording for. Right then, guys, that's it for this little episode today. We're going to end it there. Don't forget to click subscribe, ring the little bell and stay tuned for upload notifications. Pretty please smash the like button on this. And all I nicely ask is if you enjoy this waffle, this chat, these different things me and Mitch here are talking about, then just drop a share. And
put in the comment section questions that you want us to talk about. Like, you got a question for us to answer for you, pop it in the comments and we'll bring it up, talk about it, talk about your opinion, and yeah.
Right guys, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Bye bye.